What's up, y'all? We are not quite done with Dexter because there is one other little Dexter lock that we need to talk about, and actually Lock 4575 pointed it out in the last Residential Locksmith Starter series Dexter video that I didn't cover it, and that's because I'm covering it separately because it is a weirdo little lock. This is a Dexter Springlatch oval deadbolt. I have done a video on making a key for a herd version of one that used wafers, but if you have an HPC, you might notice 1200, you might notice that there is a Dexter large pin card before and after 69, but then there's this weirdo close space, and you're like, what is close space pin for? It's for this guy because it uses close space pin. So we're going to take it off the door and take a look at it and see exactly what they mean by that. These were discontinued before 67 because in that catalog that we looked at in the last Residential Locksmith Starter series video, we noticed they had keys, but it also said something about discontinued. This was the number 61 key, which is basically a DE1. That's what blank we have here. It's basically the same exact profile. You don't have to have a DE1. You can cut down a DE6 or one of the master versions or whatever, but it is just the same keyway, just shorter. So we're going to go ahead and take this off the door. It's going to be pretty easy. This one is a little bit rough acting, but they were designed to have a holdback feature. However, I have had to unlock a number of these because obviously when you close the door, it's spring shut and you can get locked out, and typically people don't even have the keys for these. Now, I'm not saying this is something that you should really depend on for security. Obviously there's not much there, but it is a good accessory lock. And on older homes that had these, people do still use them and still like them, so you may get called out to rekey it. And while the general consensus nowadays seems to be with a lot of locksmiths, just replace it, just put a new deadbolt on, blah, 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 blah. Some customers may want to keep their little lock like that. I would recommend maybe telling them, hey, let's install a better deadbolt for security, but we're just going to go ahead and rekey it. A couple of screws on the inside, comes right off, comes right apart. Let's get to it. Again, just simply 2 flathead screws. And these were pretty short. These are typically found also on 1 3/8 thickness doors. So we barely had enough screws to be able to take that apart. The latch, again, Houdini everywhere. I would actually, if I was on site, I would actually remove this latch completely and hose it down. We'll actually take the latch out before I put it on just to show you. Another weird thing about these is this is a 2.5 inch back set. And as we know, look at that big old long boy. It can be taken apart. You can do this and pop this spring out and take this out and drop out all the little pieces and stuff and maybe lube it up. But one thing you could do really is just kind of stretch the spring out a little bit, put it back on. Back in the days when they made stuff to be rebuilt. But yeah, definitely take it out, hose it down, just make sure everything's working okay. But if you were going to re-drill this guy, the only problem that you might have is it's 2.5 inch back set. So if you do 2 3/8, you're going to be getting it pretty close to there. And depending on the holes, you may have, a 2 1/8 inch hole most likely is going to cover the mounting holes, which were kind of crappy. I kind of did that shitty because I don't put these on a lot. But if you do, you may have to use a oops ring for this. I will link a video at the end of this and maybe up here, but I have done a video where I took one of these off and installed a regular deadbolt. And I've also done a video on the herd, so I'm going to link all that here and at the end or wherever in the description. Again, I mean, it's fairly intuitive. You have this guy, which is really, really loose. Is there anything I can do? There's not a whole lot of stuff I can do to get that tight again, but we're going to flip this guy this way. It looks like we're going to have to take off each side. Where is my small flathead for this? We are going to use the Wera. And get these guys off, maybe. There we go. We're going to take one side off, rotate this guy. Oh, that's a lot longer screw than I thought it was. Okay. Come on. Take that. Yep, move that there, turn it around. Take this off. Have our blank here, so we're gonna shimmaroo it. It does definitely need some lubricant before that because it is kind of gooey in this cylinder, so we are going to use some Houdini today. All right, again, pick that up. Okay, stay right there. All right, and just there we go. Houdini. Get out the way. Shimmaroo time. Four, three, two, one. I believe there's four. Well, there may be five. Yeah, there may be five. I feel like five was there. It is five, and you see what I mean by close space pin. But let's go ahead and drop out. Yeah. The pin and see if a regular pin will go in there. Look at that. It may be close space, but it is at least the right diameter. So now it's just a matter of going and cutting us a key, which we can go do. Let's go ahead and check these upper pins here, because I haven't taken this one apart yet. 1, 2, 3. It was off of a door where obviously I took it off a door and put in a regular deadbolt. So we got good. Look at that. Good. No biggie. Let's go cut this key. Okay, we have our card in here. Looks like we do need the 1011 wheel, and I don't have the 1011 wheel in there right now, so I'm going to switch that out real quick. People have asked me why I never got the speed wheel for my machine, and you know what? Because I didn't want to. I like doing this. It's honestly not that big of a big deal to change wheels. Yeah, that's tough. All right, so then we go. Boom. What are we gonna do? Let's come up with some numbers here. What are we 5, 3, 1, 4. How about that? This is hard to see through the camera. 3, 1. Don't go anywhere. 4, 2. That'll work. Doesn't really matter. I really need to get a new 1011 wheel. And as I mentioned, here is that reference to the 61. Short key for discontinued condensed cylinder. So that's what they call it, the 61, but technically it's just a 1054 KD instead of the D6, you know. So we kind of got to fill out our pins here. I don't think the regular Dexter stuff is going to work, but we can certainly check. What do we say? 5, 240? I don't know, you know. Check it. No, 5 is a little too shallow there. Let me turn this other light on. So that is not going to work. What other one can we try? We're just going to wing it. So if 5 was too short, let's jump up to, say, 255. 255 it is. So 5, what did I cut this as? 5, 4. Let's try for 240 in that slot. Nope. 225. I don't know. 225 seems kind of iffy. We'll drop it down one more. 2 will go over to 195. Still a little high. Get out of there. Get out of there. 195. Let's go down to 189. Yep. 4. We'll try this one now. A little shallow, and I'm still not liking how this one is. Let's bump that up 1. Get in there. Yeah, that's better. And then let's say 204. You just kind of got to feel it out sometimes. That looks good. See if it works. Turn, turn, turn. Boom. It's a little clicky. I feel like that may be because, yeah, let's 258. Let's jump it all the way up to 264. Let's see if that helps. I think that first one was throwing us off. One good thing you can do. Looks still a little clicky. Still a little clicky. I think the other reason was this right here, which I had as a 240. We'll jump it up to 246. Let's see how that does. That last cut actually may be a little too shallow too, or too not deep enough, not tall enough. You know what I mean. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on besides years of non-use? I think it'll work once we get it back together. Move out the way. So let's go ahead and put this guy back together. One side and then the other. And that's, I mean, honestly, that's it, y'all. It's probably could have squeezed it into that Dexter video, but we'll just make it this its own video. Too late to change that now, all right? Forgot I was zoomed out. Alright, let's get that a little trimp. Let's push this down a little bit. Oh, get it there. And, oh. Good old flathead screws, right? And we're gonna have to definitely check our key. Fascinating. Give this some lube. May have to change some upper pins here. Interesting. knock everything off the counter. Yeah, let's change these upper pins. Be right back. All right, let's see, something's going on here. And I'm not sure what. Maybe it's just a new key. It's all kind of gritty. I don't know. Let's check the height on these pins. Let's see if they're different lengths. Yep. 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 Springs appear to be okay. Let's see, what are these? Let's knock it down a little bit and see if that helps. We'll go down from about 165 to about 141 and see if that helps us with key removal a little bit. Well, that did not want to go in there. Let's go a little bit smaller. Okay, so it appears the top pins are, looks like almost a special size, because these other ones are not working in them. I don't get that. Let's see. Well, that one works. The heck. Let's try 145. That just does not want to work out, does it? It's like it's just, and that may be one of the key is hanging up. But we do have a recourse here if this is happening. And that is basically, we're going to give these cuts a little bit of a widen. Yep. Let's do that real quick and see if that helps cut off some of these points. That may very well be kind of the problem with it. So let me get this back together. And we will try a little bit of key modification, which should ease it a little bit. And if you're wondering what I mean by key modification, we're going to do this. Almost like a laser cut. All right, I got this guy back together. I took off a few of those little points. So it's almost like it's loose. So let's see if it'll tighten down anymore. You know, this is like 50 plus years old, so it may very well be loose. Work it, baby. Work it. There we go. It's still a little sticky, but I think with some wear into the key, it'll get better and better. Let's just double check that tight one more time. I know it's tight, but all right, let's put it back on the door and see how it does. Here's the strike plate, by the way. It's a little bitty fella. Alright, we are going to turn this. It does have kind of angles. If you look at it, see how it's got that little angle? So I think on this one, it's going to be this way. So let's see if we can guide it in there. Yep, just like that. And then turn it around. And get our screws in here. Looks like it's got a hold back feature for sure. And again, these screws are extremely short. So on this particular door mount, it's kind of hard to get them to catch and get started. There we go, got one. Look at that, barely got it threaded on. This one is gonna be trouble. Oh, there it goes. Maybe, there we go. All right, okay. Acting a little wonky there. Hey, there we go. It doesn't go that way. Hold back feature works with from the key from the outside. So turn it one way, it holds it back. Turn it the other way and it releases it. And yes, the key is getting better and better. Probably again because it hadn't been used in freaking forever. Look at that. We now have the Dexter oval. So there we go. There's no reason to not rekey one of these fellas, and that is what that close space pin card is for. Some people like using them. There's absolutely no reason to not rekey it, put it back in service as long as it's okay and functioning all right. But obviously after so long, they still work fine. So I'm going to post the link to the herd and then the one where I re-drilled one of these and put a updated deadbolt on because it was a rental and they kind of didn't want this style of lock on there. But if you have any questions or comments on this or any other videos, post them in the comment section and we'll catch y'all next video.